Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name for the record, please?
Jennifer Wood?
Were you ever known by any other name?
Yes. Jennifer Mummert.
And how are you currently employed?
I am a contract paralegal.
Okay. And prior to your current employment, were you employed at the Faga Law Firm?
Yes.
And in what capacity were you employed there?
I was a paralegal and firm administrator.
And how long did you work at the Faga Law Firm before your involvement with the Sievers case?
So I started there, math's not my strong suit. So I started there in 2012. And I was there until Mr. Faga's death. But we ended up with the Sievers case in between there. So I think that was 2016.
Okay. And after Mr. Faga passed, did the law firm change hands?
Yes.
Okay. And did it become Mr. Mummert's solo practice?
So it was actually prior to Mr. Faga's death. Mr. Mummert took over the practice. And they still worked in partnership, but the actual legal transfer of the practice was right before his death. And then we were Mummert and Starling for a period of time, a little bit less than a year, and then it was just Mummert.
Okay. Let's go back to when it was the Faga Law Firm. Obviously, you worked with Mr. Faga since 2012.
Yes.
How did Mr. Faga like to work his cases? Did he have a collaborative style, or did he assign
Everything
cases?
was a group effort. We did everything. The whole office was a group effort, from consultation to everything we did. We did as a team.
Okay. So Mr. Faga would have office meetings and discuss the cases with everyone involved?
Yes.
And when I say that everyone was involved, what were the individuals who would be involved in those meetings?
So in this case in particular, it was always Mike, Tony, myself. We would bring in Al Olson, who is the investigator. And then sometimes we had law clerks, like interns from Ave Maria School of Law School. So they would be involved. But in general, like if it was just his case, not a case that Mike was working on, it would always be Tony and I.
Okay. And do you recall how the firm became involved in the Sievers case?
Yes. Tony knew somebody that knew Mark's family, and asked if we could go talk to Mark. Tony sent Mike up to the jail to go talk to Mark.
Okay. So at the point that the firm became involved with the case, Mr. Sievers was already under arrest?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time, had the state filed their death notification?
No.
Okay. Did that happen later?
Yes.
Was the firm initially hired to handle Mr. Sievers' civil issues and the criminal, or did one happen after the other?
I think they all happened simultaneously. The civil issues came later, but it was criminal and dependency kind of went together, and then later we got a trust case, and then after that there was a wrongful death case, and a probate was somewhere in the middle of all of that. I don't have like a super clear timeline, but I know that criminal and dependency came first, and then the civil probate trust issues came after the fact.
Okay. And prior to the state's notification to seek the death penalty, were there discussions as to who was going to primarily handle the criminal case?
Yes, they were going to do it as a team effort, but
Okay.
Mike had more of the current criminal experience.
So Mr. Mummert was going to be lead because of his criminal experience at that point?
Yes.
But Mr. Faga was going to be heavily involved as well?
Yes, it was a group effort.
And once the state filed their notice to seek the death penalty, were there discussions in the office as to whether to stay on the case or how they would handle it?
Yes.
And what were those discussions, if you recall?
So there was a lot of discussion about it. Mr. Faga had some hesitation. He had handled capital murder cases, but in New York, they didn't have the death penalty, so that was not, and that was many years ago. So there was discussions as to we needed to have somebody who was death qualified. We needed to start looking for that, and that ultimately we would talk to Mr. Sievers about it.
Now, was there a search for a death-qualified attorney? If
Yes.
you recall. And Lee, was a death-qualified attorney found for this case?
Yes, so we had interviewed a couple, and then I'm pretty sure that in 2017 it was, maybe mid-2017, Mr. Messore reached out to our offices.
Okay. And you discussed that also Mr. Faga and Mr. Mummert were going to discuss whether to stay on with Mr. Sievers.
Yes.
And was it Mr. Sievers' choice to keep you on the case?
Yes.
And I believe you just testified that Mr. Messore became involved in 2017, is that correct?
Yeah, I can't remember exactly when in 2017, but I know that it was prior to Mr. Faga's death. I know Mr. Faga was involved in those initial discussions with him, so it was prior, even before he got sick and wasn't really actively involved in the practice.
Okay. And did Mr. Messore reach out, or did the firm find him?
No, he reached out to us.
Now, did Mr. Faga or Mr. Mummert seek advice as to how to themselves prepare or get death qualification to handle this case?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And who did Mr. Mummert or Mr. Faga reach out to for that?
When the initial notice of intent to seek death came about, we went over to Miami, and I'm not going to remember the law school, but it was a Miami law school where they had a death clinic. They had the clinic there, and we spoke to a few different death attorneys there who definitely advised us to start talking to death qualified attorneys. And then we went to Life Over Death 2, maybe 3 times during each year. We went to Life Over Death after that. And then Kathleen Fitzgeorge was very helpful in terms of guiding.
Okay. And did Kathleen Fitzgeorge represent one of the defendants in this case?
Yes,
And who was that, if you recall?
Jimmy Rogers.
Okay. And in the initial stages, did the team at your office and Ms. Fitzgeorge collaborate on depositions and work together?
Until the severance, we did everything together, yes.
And she provided insight for Mr. Mummert?
I would say more guidance, yes.
Now, was your firm advised to hire a mitigation specialist?
Yes.
And what was that process like for your firm?
Painful. It was really painful trying to get one. So early on, Mr. Faga was focused on that. We had multiple interviews and phone calls with people that were originally recommended to us over on the other coast. I want to say like one was in Delray Beach. And basically, everybody told us, we can only have a certain amount of cases, we're at our max capacity, call us. The 3 women that we had interviewed and talked to that we really liked were like, hey, we're at our max right now, but try again, we'll let you know if one falls off. Then we hired Cynthia O'Shea,
Okay.
was the first one that actually got on the case.
Okay. And she was the first mitigation expert that became involved in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And from the way you're describing it, it sounds like in these initial stages, Mr. Faga was very involved with trying to find a mitigation specialist. Is that correct?
Yes, he did all of the interviewing in that beginning.
Okay. And how long did Ms. O'Shea work on the case?
I'm not sure. It was a couple months, probably a little bit longer than that.
Okay. And why did she stop being a mitigation specialist on the case?
She had billing issues with the JAC, and she was no longer allowed to continue with the case through the JAC.
Okay. So the firm had to restart the process again?
Yes.
Okay. And did the firm eventually hire Ms. Donna Murray?
Yes.
Okay. And when did the firm hire Ms. Donna Murray to be involved in the case?
I don't know exact dates. I know that we tried to get those ladies back again that we had previously interviewed. We called them again. And then we ended up with Donna Murray, I would say maybe, I don't know, August of the year, maybe August of 2018,
Okay. Roughly August of 2018.
I'm guessing.
So it was right before trial was set to be.
It was shortly, yes. We were definitely panicked about it. It was close to trial.
Okay. And during this time period and during the pendency of the case, were there still attempts made by the firm to collect mitigation information and interview witnesses to prepare for the penalty phase?
Yes, so Cindy O'Shea had given us kind of like her initial documents. So myself and Al Olson tried to chase down all the documents and that kind of thing to make it easier for whomever took over.
Okay. And when you say that you and Al Olson went to go chase these documents, what did you do? What efforts did you make?
So I know Al Olson went at Thanksgiving time, 2017. There was depositions being done in Missouri. He went to Missouri and interviewed witnesses. I know that in 2018, I went to Missouri myself to get a bunch of records. That was in May. We were having difficulties with people responding appropriately to getting records and the back and forth with different court systems and that kind of thing. So I flew out to Missouri myself to get them.
Okay. So you were very involved in the mitigation process.
Yes.
Okay. And when Ms. Murray joined the team so late in the game, did you provide Ms. Murray the documents that she needed?
They were all through the Dropbox.
They were all through the Dropbox. Were there issues with the Dropbox?
She claimed there was. I had never had anybody else have issues with the Dropbox.
Okay. But she had issues accessing the information?
She had sent us an email saying that the Dropbox link was empty. She couldn't access it. It wasn't a good link.
Okay. Did she also raise concerns about the length of time before trial that she had to work?
I think right at the end, right before she left, that was her reasoning of not staying on the case, was that this was just too quick and there wasn't enough time.
Okay, and there was email correspondence regarding this?
Yes.
Okay, and you would respond to Ms. Murray regarding her concerns?
Yes.
Okay. Were you the primary person responding to Ms. Murray?
Yes. I know the final response, Mike and I had talked about it, and then I sent the final response to her.
Okay, and that was ultimately to cut her out of the case?
Well, she was the one who said she wasn't going to move forward because she didn't have enough time.
Okay. Would it be fair to state that you liaised a lot with the mitigation experts in this case?
Yes.
And is that because, as part of your role in the office as the administrator, you organize the records?
I did a lot of the scheduling, organizing of records, keeping of all the discovery, that kind of thing.
Okay. And speaking of the collecting of records and the organizing of records, how did the firm do that? Was there a specialized room where the physical records were kept in?
So we had a room that was all just those files that was locked, and it was only the hard copies. And then we also kept in there the original. At the time, we would get the discovery from the state on CDs. And so we'd keep all the original CDs in the way that they came from the state. So I would take them and then put them on a hard drive when we get them, and then those original CDs were also kept in that room.
Okay. And placing the information on hard drives, was that to make it easier to locate the information?
So I organized it in my own fashion, not the way the state gave it to us. So we separated out the documents, retitled them, and I had like a working hard drive so that we still had all the original data. And then and all of it was also on a backup on Dropbox.
And if any of your experts requested information, would you give it to them physically or digitally?
Everything was in Dropbox, but if they requested anything additional, like sometimes they would say like, I can't find this, and I would typically do it digitally. I think Al Olson would come to the office a lot because he liked the hard copies, so he would work out of the office a lot of times, but everybody else was pretty much digitally.
Okay. And when Mr. Messore became actively involved, did he have access to the records at your office?
Absolutely.
Okay. Was he also given records digitally?
Yes.
Once Mr. Messore became more actively involved in the case and Mr. Faga passed, how did the trial team function and the office function at that point with respect to the Sievers case?
So Mr. Messore would come to the office, like when we tried to have pretty regularly scheduled meetings with the whole team. So Al Olson, Marie Olson, Mr. Messore. Eventually we added on a mitigation specialist, Mr. Giordano, myself, Mike. We would have like a pretty regular all office meeting. But like the day-to-day stuff was handled typically by Mike and I. And then I remember like he would leave court, Mr. Messore would leave court and be like, hey, can I come by the office? And yeah, and so he would just come by.
Okay. Now, did Mr. Messore regularly keep contact with the mitigation experts in this case, or was that all handled through you?
I think not with Cindy O'Shea. I don't think he had any contact. Maybe once with Donna Murray, but he did with Jeff Giordano, I know for a fact.
Okay. And ultimately, was Jeff Giordano the final mitigation specialist that your firm hired on this case?
Yes.
Okay. And was he one of the experts that you had attempted to contact previously, or did he come from another list of experts?
We did not try to contact him immediately. He came from the JAC's list of people.
Okay. And once Mr. Giordano was on the case and became involved, what did he do as a mitigation specialist on the case?
So we gave him Cindy O'Shea's, Donna Murray's records, all the records I obtained. He had access to the Dropbox as well. I know that he interviewed Mr. Sievers several times. He interviewed a series of witnesses in the family that we had asked him to interview. I don't really know. He was kind of hard to keep track of what he was. He didn't work as directly with me. Once he took over the mitigation, it wasn't as direct until we'd have those meetings. So like I wouldn't know who he was interviewing or that kind of thing on a day-to-day basis. But then when we would meet, he would give his updates.
Would it be fair to say that the collaborative atmosphere that had prevailed under Mr. Faga kind of disappeared afterwards, once he was gone.
I think the collaborative effort became more of Mike and I, and Al Olson was very, very involved. I think it became more of us. It was like a smaller group than what we originally had. And then right before trial, everybody worked together before we had on those final preparations.
All right. And were there other experts hired on this case?
Yes.
Was there a crime scene expert hired on this case?
Yes.
And who was that?
J.D. Thomas.
Okay. And what was the purpose of Mr. Thomas's involvement in the case?
The initial idea was to give him all the crime scene photos, and Mr. Faga had said day one that he did not believe that the story, the narrative matched the forensics. So we wanted to see what a crime scene expert would say. And then eventually, as Curtis Wainwright was making his statements, we wanted him to disprove those statements with forensics.
Okay. And do you recall when you hired Mr. Thomas?
I don't.
Okay. Is Mr. Thomas someone Mr. Faga used previously, or was he recommended?
I think I met him at one of the Life Over Death conferences.
Okay. And that's how he eventually became involved in this case?
Yes, I asked around and everybody said he was great to use him.
Okay. And did you contact him on behalf of the attorneys?
Yes.
And did Mr. Mummert speak with Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. How many conversations?
I remember one right leading up to a trial, and then I think we had like a few where I was talking to him and Mike would come participate in the conversation, but like I remember them having one meeting.
Okay. And the reason behind getting Mr. Thomas involved was because Mr. Faga felt that Mr. Wright's statements did not fit what he was seeing in the crime scene and the forensics.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Faga said in the beginning that the police narrative did not fit the crime scene. That was before Mr. Wright even started making statements. So Mr. Faga did not believe in the beginning that the forensics and the narrative were matching.
And what information did your firm develop from Mr. Thomas?
That the narrative did not match the crime scene.
Now, was he ultimately used at trial?
No.
Okay. And do you recall why not?
Mr. Mummert made that decision at trial. He believed that the detectives themselves gave enough information. I believe one of the detectives testified something like, yeah, he thought it was bizarre that there wasn't the same amount of blood spatter that you would have expected to see, or he thought that he got enough out of the detectives that he chose not to call him.
Okay. And this was a decision made at trial?
Yes.
And was Mr. Thomas under subpoena at the time?
No, we had just told him, hey, we might be going to trial. He had a conflicting date too. He was trying a case. He was in a trial up in North Florida at the time. I don't remember where, but I stayed in contact with him through phone communication.
Okay. Were there other experts hired to look at this case for mitigation purposes?
Mitigation, yes.
And do you recall who those experts were?
We had a mental health expert. Can't remember his name. He was a doctor. I can see him. I don't remember his name. He's out of Arizona, though, out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. Did this doctor evaluate Mr. Sievers?
Yes.
Okay. And was this done confidentially, or did you list him as a witness?
I think he was eventually listed as a witness.
Ultimately, was this person used at trial?
No.
And was that Mr. Mummert's decision?
I think him and Mr. Messore made that decision.
Do you recall if there were ever any discussions during the team meetings to try and speak with Mr. Rogers?
I remember Mike asking Kathleen in like a passive, like, is your client gonna let me talk to him type thing, like a more of like a joking, passing type conversation. And she was like, no. But there was never like an actual discussion to talk to him.
Okay. And regarding, you testified earlier that Mr. Mummert and Ms. Fitzgeorge were working together in preparation for trial, but ultimately this case was severed. Did Mr. Mummert know Ms. Fitzgeorge would be filing to sever the case?
No.
Okay. Did that come as a surprise to the trial team?
Yes, we did not know that that was filed in Mr. Rogers' case. We just saw the order come across from the judge that the case was severed, and then we pulled Mr. Rogers' docket and saw that there was a motion.
Okay. Up until that point, what was the understanding of what was going to happen at trial with Mr. Rogers and Mr. Sievers?
So I think the plan was that they were handling more of like that forensics piece as it pertained to Jimmy Rogers' case, more so than it pertained to Mr. Sievers' case. So they had their experts. We were kind of relying on Mr. Mummert was more focused on the conspiracy piece of it than the forensics piece.
So at some level, some of the forensics and the development of that evidence, Mr. Mummert was relying on what was coming out of Jimmy Rogers' case.
Yes.
And ultimately, Mr. Rogers' case went first, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did Mr. Mummert send anybody to attend that trial?
I attended the trial.
Okay. On behalf of Mr. Mummert?
Yes.
Okay. And did you take notes at the trial?
Yes.
Was there ever discussion at the office of obtaining transcripts from that trial to prepare for Mr. Sievers' trial?
Yes, I believe we ordered several transcripts.
Okay. And did you also attend along with Mr. Mummert the deposition of Curtis Wainwright?
Yes.
And were there discussions about obtaining those depositions?
We obtained those.
Were there discussions at the team meetings about how to handle Mr. Wright's testimony at trial?
Yes.
Was Mr. Messore involved in those conversations?
Towards the end, he was, like right before trial, he did participate, but not in the beginning when we first, so we did it visually first and, kind of wrote it out, and then we started developing the questions using the depositions, and I think he came in after that initial development of that.
Okay. And did he help Mr. Mummert and provide insight as to how to properly attack and impeach Mr. Wright's testimony?
Not that I recall.
Did Mr. Messore also provide insights as to the jury selection on this case? What was his participation for that?
So I know he participated. He was at the table with Mr. Mummert We had sheets that were developed. I don't think he did those as well. I think he took his own notes, but he communicated with Mike about it.
Okay. And how did Mr. Mummert prepare for jury selection on this case?
So we took, at one of the life over deaths, I think it's, I don't know what the method's called now. I want to say the Morgan method, but at the time it was the Colorado method. So we went and took those seminars. And then we did like mock jury so he could practice it. And then we developed I don't know if you want to call it like a score sheet. Like it was like a one-page sheet that we would all fill out to get to the rating system. And so we all practiced that to make sure that we were kind of aligned in the same scaling.
And that is what Mr. Mummert used ultimately at trial?
Yes.
If I may have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Would it be fair to say, Ms. Wood, that you were the main point of contact for a lot of the experts, between the experts and the office on the team?
Yes.
Okay. Did you sort of act like a filter or a conduit for those individuals to the lawyers?
Sure. Okay. That's
But obviously, whatever was done with those experts would be done at the behest of the attorneys.
yes, and they were always copied on all communication and
So they were always aware of what communications were going on.
yes.
And with respect to Mr. Giordano, is he based in Miami or was at the time?
Yes.
Okay. How did he participate in the team meetings?
So he came in right at the end to prepare the mitigation. So leading up to the trial, we prepared like an initial mitigation packet presentation. And then after the conviction, after he was found guilty, we spent a lot of time with Mr. Giordano preparing for the next phase. So he was present there. We created PowerPoints. We put together witness questions. We prepared the whole piece.
Okay. And all of this preparation was done to assist Mr. Messore in the presentation of the penalty phase?
Yes.
And at that time, Mr. Giordano would come all the way from Miami in person to assist with this?
Yes.
Okay. And he assisted in putting together what you described as a mitigation package,
Yes.
including a PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Okay. Was this PowerPoint presentation ultimately used at the penalty phase?
No.
Did Mr. Messore decide not to use it at trial?
Literally minutes before we walked out here, he decided not to use the PowerPoint or the outline that we had developed.
Okay. Did he participate in the development of that presentation?
So we developed it, Mr. Giordano and I developed it, and then he had I think his name was Jose, maybe. I'm guessing on his name, but another gentleman that worked with Mr. Giordano's office that came over and helped with like the graphics of it or whatever, because we had older pictures, so we needed to change that. So he helped with that piece of it, and then we brought Mr. Messore in after that was all developed. He had us make changes to it. We moved slides for better flow or whatever, and he was involved in that, but not the actual development of it.
But he did have input as to how it would look like, how it would flow.
The flow, yes.
Okay. And in this PowerPoint presentation, what information was being conveyed?
It was a timeline of Mr. Sievers' entire life, from childhood, living in the islands with his dad while his dad was in medical school, to his parents' separation, all the way through college, having children, the whole timeline.
So it was a step-by-step presentation of who Mr. Sievers was.
Yes.
And do you recall what the main theme of the mitigation that was going to be presented at trial?
So we didn't have any of the statutory mitigators, so we tried to really focus on his life, that, you know, he was a good family man, that he was a good father, that he gave back to the community. He did a lot of charity stuff with his daughters. It was really focused on that, but it gave the whole picture of his life.
Okay.
Divorced parents. Yeah.
Did Mr. Messore use any of that information at the penalty phase?
No.
If I may have just one more moment.
Yes, ma'am.
At this time, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
State.
Ms. Wood, good to see you. It's been a while.
See you.
So let me just first, I want to clarify for the record the use of the title paralegal. Is your job title paralegal, or are you a Florida certified paralegal?
Job title is paralegal.
So you're not a bar certified
No.
paralegal, okay. Is it safe to say that you were very involved in Mr. Sievers' defense?
Yes.
You were interfacing with the defense attorneys. You were, yes?
Yes.
You were interfacing with the defense experts.
Yes.
You were interfacing with the Rogers defense team.
Yes.
You were even interfacing with me and my staff at my office on a regular basis, right?
We did a lot of arguing about discovery, yes.
And you challenged us to make sure we were producing it the way you needed it produced, and we challenged you to take it the way we were giving it to you, right?
Yeah, we did a lot of that.
We did a lot of that. Ultimately, you were able to get all the discovery from us,
Yes.
and you were able to provide all the discovery for use by the attorneys in the firm.
Yes.
Mr. Mummert and Mr. Faga both understood clearly that they weren't death qualified, right? And they explained that to Mr. Sievers.
Yes.
Mr. Sievers understood that.
Yes.
They were very upfront with him and with the court about their qualifications, right?
Yes.
There was nothing about it that was hidden, correct?
Correct.
And despite all that, again, Mr. Sievers wanted to keep the team.
Yes.
And the team sought out assistance in defending a death penalty case, right?
Yes.
Was it FIU law that they went to?
That sounds right.
Right, sounds about right. Spoke to some professors at FIU law, right? Spoke to, you mentioned earlier that Mr. Mummert spent some time talking to Ms. Fitzgeorge, who has a very distinguished death penalty trial record, right?
Yes.
And you said we went to life over death. Now, does that mean the firm went, or you went along with the attorneys?
Al Wilson went. So the first year it was Mr. Faga. He was alive and well. Mr. Faga, Al Wilson, I think maybe even Marie Olson went. Myself, Mr. Mummert. That was who went to the
So-
first one, and I don't remember the second one. I think Tony was sick at that point and didn't go with us, but Al, Mike, and I went.
So not only did Mr. Mummert and Mr. Faga go as the attorneys, but the non-attorneys, yourself, Mr. Olson, Mrs. Olson, also went.
I can't remember if Marie Olson went or not, but yes, we did.
And you were able to apply some of the principles that you learned at this seminar to your defense of Mark Sievers, right?
Absolutely.
Mr. Mummert and Mr. Faga consulted with and hired mitigation experts.
Yes.
Mr. Mummert and Mr. Faga consulted with and hired a crime scene expert.
Yes.
Mr. Mummert and Mr. Faga consulted with and hired, I think it was Dr. Underwood to do,
That's it.
Dr. Underwood from Phoenix, right?
Yes.
To do the mental evaluation of Mr. Sievers.
Yes.
And again, the purpose of that was to find out if there was any information to assist in mitigation for Mr. Sievers, right?
Correct.
Mr. Mummert participated in depositions of not only the state's experts, but as well as when the state deposed the Rogers experts. Mr. Mummert participated in those depositions, right?
I'm not sure if he participated in all of them, but I know that we made an attempt to go to all of those.
And when y'all went to Missouri, did y'all go on your own dime, or did you have court funds to pay for that trip to Missouri?
We went on our own dime.
So you went on your own dime to find documents to not only investigate, but to potentially be able to present in court in Mr. Sievers' defense if necessary.
Yes.
And Mr. Olson interviewed potential mitigation witnesses in Missouri.
Yes, he interviewed several witnesses.
Or trial witnesses.
For both. Yeah, it was for both.
So, Ms. Murray, and both you and Ms. Murray have said that there was an issue, whatever the issue was, with her Dropbox link. Now, were you the person who was in charge of farming out the Dropbox links to the appropriate experts?
Yes.
Were you pretty adept at using Dropbox?
Used it a lot in that case.
And did you have to become very adept with working with digital files, PDFs, and things like that?
Yes.
You provide the Dropbox information to J.D. Thomas, and he was able to use it, right?
Correct.
You provided Dropbox information to the gentleman from Miami, Mr. Giordano, and he was able to use that, right?
Correct.
And did you also provide the Dropbox information to Cindy O'Shea,
Yes.
and she was able to access that?
Yes.
So somehow Ms. Murray was the only person who seemed to have that problem.
Correct.
When she discovered the problem, did she immediately inform you about the problem, or was there some delay?
I believe there was a delay, but that was a communication barrier apparently between her and I.
Safe to say, to this day, you don't agree with Ms. Murray's exit from the case and her reasons why.
Correct.
If Ms. Murray needed documents, discovery, or anything from your office to enable her to prepare Mr. Sievers' mitigation, would you have attempted to obtain that for her?
Absolutely.
Did you also spend a lot of time talking to Mr. Sievers about the case?
Yes.
Now, is it safe to say also that Mr. Mummert, once the experts were briefed and supplied with documents, that he expected them to do the work on their own?
Yes.
Mr. Mummert wasn't necessarily into hand-holding the experts, right?
No, he's not a hand-holding kind of lawyer.
Not the hand-holding kind of guy.
I am.
But so once they were employed and given the documents, he expected them to go do the work and report back on what they found, right?
Correct.
And he used you as the liaison between him and the experts.
Correct.
So the fact that Mr. Giordano took his mitigation packet that was provided to him and Mr. Mummert maybe didn't know what he was doing with it, it wasn't a problem for Mr. Mummert, right? As long as Mr. Giordano reported back.
Yeah, I would say that's correct.
Mr. Mummert was ready and able to call Mr. Thomas as a witness at trial, right?
Yes.
He made a tactical decision not to.
Correct.
And let me double back. I think I passed the subject here, talking about jury selection. Not only were you present here when we did I think in that seat over there, when we did the Rogers trial, you were also present here for the Sievers trial, right?
Correct.
And you were able to provide advice and assistance to the defense team you were part of the defense team during the Sievers trial, right?
Correct.
Even though you weren't sitting in the well, you were participating in the defense, right?
Correct.
And you were able to provide your insights on jury selection as it occurred, right?
Yes, I sat back there under the AC vent.
Way in the back where it was cold.
Yes.
And it was up to the attorneys and Mr. Sievers to decide whether or not to use your insights, right?
Correct.
Despite the fact that, well, in fact, getting up to the severance, the defense teams up to until the severance was filed, I'll say the parties have been planning to do a joint trial, right?
That was our belief, yes.
We collaborated on Venari questions for the jury,
Yes.
right? We went back and forth on questions, planning for a joint trial, right? And so when the severance surprised Mr. Mummert, did he have time to adjust?
Not a lot of time.
Certainly it would have been a lot less time for him to adjust if the Sievers trial had started first in the beginning of October 2019 as opposed to the Rogers trial, right?
Yes.
And you said that at one of the death penalty seminars that you and the team attended, you learned the Colorado method of jury selection.
Yes, that's what it was called then. I think they've changed the name now.
We'll say whatever it's called.
Yes.
You learned the method that was being taught at one of the seminars.
Yes.
And the team worked with Mr. Mummert to practice this method.
Correct.
Only once?
No,
More than once.
absolutely.
And this was something Mr. Mummert and the team took seriously.
Yes.
So you spent a lot of time with Mr. Giordano working on this, and the other gentleman, I think you said his name was Jose something, working on this PowerPoint.
Correct.
You were very invested in the PowerPoint.
It told our whole timeline, so yes.
A little disappointed maybe that it wasn't used the way you thought it should have been used in the mitigation part of the trial?
Yeah, yes.
But in fact, Mr. Messore did review the PowerPoint, right?
Yes.
He knew what was in it, right? In fact, he used elements of the PowerPoint in mitigation, didn't he?
Maybe some pictures that we had, like the larger blown up version of them, maybe some of those.
The pictures, the ones of him in the islands, Mr. Sievers,
Yes.
graduation pictures,
I don't remember about graduation pictures.
the family pictures.
Family pictures, yes.
So even though the PowerPoint wasn't used in its entirety, Mr. Messore knew what was in it and was able to incorporate elements of it into his defense, right?
Not in its entirety, no. There was large portions of that that were not used.
I used the word elements. He was able to incorporate parts of it. I'll
Yes.
use a better word, parts of it into his defense.
Yes.
Certainly you would have liked to have seen the whole thing used, right?
Yes.
You put a lot of work into it.
Had nothing to do with the work being put in.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Defense.
Briefly, Your Honor. Now, as you testified to the case, you liaised a lot with the experts, is that correct?
Yes.
And you would convey to the attorneys what those experts were saying, what they were reporting back.
Yes.
And they were always, if it was an email communication, they would always be copied, correct?
Correct.
And in this matter, with Mr. J.D. Thomas, did he provide useful information for the Sievers defense?
Yes.
But ultimately, Mr. Mummert opted not to use him.
Correct.
Now, would it be fair to say that you learned a lot about mitigation as this particular case went on?
Yes, I knew nothing in the beginning.
Did Mr. Mummert know a lot about mitigation prior to getting on this case?
He knew that it was required, but and I think a generalized idea, but until we went to that first life over death, I don't think either of us were truly. Same with Mr. Faga. I don't think any of us really knew.
So it would be fair to say that you learned a lot about what kind of information needed to be developed in mitigation while this case was pending?
Yes.
Okay. And you went to a lot of trainings for that?
Yeah, we went to the life over death.
Yes. And you said that you went to the life over death more than once while this case was pending?
Yes.
And now, as part of your duties with record keeping, you testified earlier that you would receive the records, you would maintain a copy of the records as they were, but then you would organize the records in a certain fashion. Did you ever rename the records or the files?
Yes.
Okay. And what were the naming conventions in the Sievers case relating to the records or files? Like, how would you label them?
So I would typically label what it was and then what the bait stamps were, because we had a lot of issues where, like, we'd say that we were missing things, and so we'd get like a new discovery dump, for lack of better terms. And when we get that, I would try to track the baits to make sure that it was all the same exact stuff that we had gotten before. And then we had like a log, created a spreadsheet log, so it was how the state had it labeled and then how we relabeled it. And then if it was reviewed by Mike or not, so he knew what he had reviewed and what he hadn't. But it would typically be like whatever the document was, and then it was separated by each thing. So when we would get it from the state, it would be like pages 2,000 to 6,000, and it's a little bit of everything combined in it. So we would separate it out, and I would separate those files into separated. These are photos, these are phone records, these are each of the individual things.
Okay. So in other words, this was a very voluminous case.
Yes,
And the way you broke it down was to assist Mr. Mummert in his review.
yes, and the experts.
Okay, and the experts. And you would clearly label if it was a crime scene report.
Yes,
So there would be no mistaking as to what they actually obtained through the
Correct.
Dropboxes.
correct.
Okay. And obviously you would also maintain a list of what you gave the experts.
I don't think I maintained a list of what I gave them as much as I gave them access to the Dropbox, and so I could see when they would open, like, their little pictures, like the picture of them, it would say like last viewed on with like their little icon.
Okay, so you could track to see who accessed it and when.
Yes,
Now, you also testified that Mr. Mummert did a lot of preparation for jury selection and did almost like mock jury selections.
yes,
And that was to familiarize himself with the jury selection method that was being taught at the time.
yes.
Okay. Did Mr. Messore participate in this preparation?
No,
Okay. So he did not participate in the mocks to assist Mr. Mummert on this?
no,
Okay. But he was present during jury selection to give his insights.
yes,
Now, was now, I believe you testified earlier that that once Mr. Faga passed away, it sort of became a much smaller circle of people who would meet and collaborate on the Mr. Sievers case. Is that correct?
yes,
It would be mainly yourself, Mr. Mummert, and Mr. Olson,
yes.
and Mr. Giordano at one point.
In the mitigation phase, yes.
Yeah. And that was closer towards trial.
Right before trial and then after the first phase of trial.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Messore wasn't always present for all of those meetings?
No, he was not.
Okay. Would it be fair to say that he was a little less involved than Mr. Mummert?
Absolutely.
Objection. That one's leading.
Sustained.
What do you recall was the level of Mr. Messore's participation in those meetings?
So when he did come to those meetings, he was more focused on the mitigation aspect of it, so he didn't really participate much up until right before trial. And then it was kind of like, we already had our binders prepared, we already had our witnesses, you know, what we planned to talk about the witnesses, we already had the exhibits, so he just kind of reviewed with us right before trial.
So from what you observed, he reviewed items prior to trial, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. But in the preparation, he wasn't nearly as involved.
correct.
And you also testified regarding the slideshow when Mr. Hunter was questioning you, that there were portions of the slideshows that were not used.
Correct.
And I believe you characterized it as large portions. Is that correct?
Yes.
I have no further questions.
State.
Nothing further from the state.
Is this witness to be released or retained?
Released.
Agree?
Agreed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
You're free to go. How many witnesses do you have left for today?
We have two witnesses and then Mr. Rogers.
Okay. Your next witness, I'm assuming, is longer than 10 minutes.
Potentially, and I would ask the court for me to check if they're there and talk to them for a few minutes anyway.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is, should we break for lunch now, or do
This
you want to
this might be a good time to break for lunch.
agree?
Agreed.
What do you think? 1:15? 1:15?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Should give everyone enough time. Okay, see everybody then.